is Magrathea Builder World. This is video number 6, part 6 of the Redwall Abbey build. This is actually the final video in the series because this actually is the Abbey. Done, completed, finished. I mean, the other two bits are done as well on either side. This video is kind of like a continuation of the last video, obviously, but the last video was going to be all done and finished and get the whole thing finished, but I failed because I had 40 odd minutes of just painting the damn thing because it's so big. This model then is about the last details that went into it. This model will include the making of the rose window in the back of the building and the adding of the kitchen garden and the formal garden and the fountain and all the bits and pieces that make the model come to life in many ways. It's been an epic build. It's a commission build for Black Dragon Miniatures in Hinckley in Leicestershire. So in the future, if you want to play at Redwall Abbey, you'll have to go and see Gary at Black Dragon rather than hope that you're going to get around my gaff. However, I do hope to run a Magrathea Builder World's Burrows and Badgers event or two in the future, and I'm rather hoping that A, Gary will come, and B, he'll bring Redwall with him. So, you know, you never know. We'll have to see. Anyway, well, let's get on. Without any further ado, let's take a look at the final parts of putting this whole huge epic build together. Check it out. This way. Oh, I don't know. That way. Let's look at the rose window first. Good idea, Tim. Yes, I know. Lots of people were teased about it last video. Yes, they were. So, let's have a look at the rose window first, and then we'll look at all the green stuff. I'll see you at the end. Laters. So I'm going to have a crack at doing something cool with my rose windows. These are the rose windows going in the back of the Abbey, and there's two sides. I 3D printed these, and then I have, which I have highlighted there, and the white one's going on the inside. I also have a sheet of acetate here, which I'm going to sandwich in between the two windows, and a bunch of old school, because I'm an old school teacher, permanent overhead projector pens, and I'm going to do some stained glass windows. I'm not going to do anything really flash, just going to do a pattern, but I'm going to see. It's going to be an experiment. I'm going to see if it works. So we'll check this out and see if it works. Wish me luck. Anything's got to be better than dry brushing even more brick wall. I'll come back to that in a little while. Ha ha. So the rose window then. It's pretty simple. You've just seen all the components, and I told you I was going to use these OHP markers, and that's exactly what I did. And now it's going to jump right to the end of the rose window being assembled and getting stuck into the model, because I didn't actually think you needed to watch me colour in acetate. I'm sorry if you wanted to see me colour in acetate. I didn't film that bit. I was too busy colouring in the acetate. Anyway, check out the finished rose window. It's right here. Here we go. There is the finished thing. If I hold it like that, you can see the colours. There aren't many colours. It's got like reds and an orange and a greeny bluey bit. Now, I'll hold it up to the lighter. I see the light. I see the... That's going to be cool. I'll tell you what, when that is in the model, I'm going to have to do some saucy lighting behind it, but I reckon that's going to be pretty flipping cool, even if I do say so myself, people. Yes, bow down to the stained glass windowness of this Abbey. Right, now I've got to do stick it in. Oh, and finish painting the blasted thing. Okay, right, back to dry brushing. It was fun while it lasted. Okay, I haven't actually stuck the window into the wall yet, but what I've done is I've just put an LED light inside there. Check that out. That's really, really cool. I'm really happy with that. Gary, I hope you're watching this. I hope you like this. It's a nice feature. It's just a pattern of colours, but it is pretty cool. That's going to look really cool when that's in. Okay, here we are. Now, we're edging closer and closer to the end of this build, which I'm really happy about. The model's looking more and more finished all the time, and we're now at a bit that I've been really looking forward to for ages, because at the moment Now you can see I've got the stonework done, the roof's done, and here is a great big pile of doors, lots more doors, and all the woodwork is pretty much done, dry brushed up, looking nice. Problem with that now is the fact that I have what can only be described as a very limited palette of colours. I literally got sandstone browns, reds, the paving stones and the roof tiles, which are the same colour, the wood, and the earth areas in the grounds. So to add a splash of colour now, I'm going to do the gardens in the refectory side and the Abbot side. We need trees and crops and grass and shrubs and stuff, and that will add colour to the whole model, which is going to be really cool. So I think we're going to start with the refectory over there, or the garden outside, and I'll see what we can come up with. So this is the bit I'm working on first of all then, to do gardens and grounds. This is the refectory for Burrows and Badgers then. These are monks' cells over here. This is the refectory building itself, where they all gather together to eat. Everybody in the abbey gathers together to eat. And a kitchen over here. And this has always been destined here to be a kind of like cottage, a kitchen garden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about planting some crops and turning this into putting some green and some plant life in here, and some maybe something climbing up the corner of the refectory here to break up the hard lines a little bit, and then we need to do some paint touch-ups and bits and pieces. So I'm going to start with a dry brush, just to take off the edge of the flat dried bark brown base coat there, and then we're going to look at how we're going to apply different kind of like just a few plants down here as if they're being grown in a kitchen garden by the people in the abbey, or the creatures in the abbey. If this was a model being used for other periods, not being used as an abbey, this would actually make a really nice stable block over here, apart from anything else. But of course in Burrows and Badgers, they don't have beasts of burden in the same kind of way. Certainly don't have horses, so you don't need stables. So definitely monks' cells. Right, let's crack on with working on this and turning this into a kitchen garden then. Here's what we need to make the vegetable garden. We need some offcuts of XPS foam. We need some wood glue. We need sand, stones, and then we need our plants. Now I'm using TP Tasma products plants. These are O gauge, double O gauge. These ones are O gauge, I think. No, these are double O gauge plants. I've got a pack of turnips and a pack of leeks. And these I've used in other places as well. I think these ones are, I can't remember what they are. They all look the same. They're quite cute. Climby plants and stuff. And then I've got grass tufts that will be something else as well. So I'm going to end up with a bunch of different kind of crops growing in my kitchen garden. These I like Tasma products, all the different kind of like plants and bits and pieces. Model railway kits. They're pretty expensive, I suppose. I mean, £6-7 quid a box, but they are quite cool, and they do really kind of lend that extra cool look to what you're doing. I mean, the turnips are really cute. Look. I don't know if you can see those. They've got like little growy purpley bits, and then the leaves going out the top. They'll look really nice in a little line. So that's what we're going to do. So what this is going to involve is I'm going to make some raised bits of earth out of this XPS foam. I'm going to cut this and shape this so they're long, because these little beggars will then poke into the XPS foam. So I'll make the XPS foam earth, shape it, stick it on, cover it in sand, and then be able to paint that, and then we'll be able to stick the plants that are growing on top of it. It'll be quite neat. let's have a crack and look and see how we can do that. Right, so I need this. I don't need this lot for a minute. I do need the model, which is up above me. First thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to decide which way I want the plants to go. In some ways it might be quite cool if they go this way. Take my knife, cut roughly yay long. I'm going to cut that down the middle, and then I'm going to shape those into some raised bits of earth. See how that looks. You don't need to watch me trimming bits of polystyrene. Jesus, it's pretty boring really. Alright, so now I've got my 4 bits of XPS foam that's cut, and I've stuck that with Gorilla Glue, and now I'm going to Mod Podge over that and cover that in sand, let that go off, paint that, and they will be my little vegetable beds that I'm going to stick my turnips and my leeks in. And some other stuff as well. I almost certainly will put some of those plants on tall canes up here somewhere on one of these two to break up line of sight, offer a bit of cover through there, and kind of like crowd this bit out, so from a gaming point of view. So that is the next job. Mod Podge, here we go. Good stuff this. And the nice thing about this part of the job is the fact you don't have to be particularly particular. Just splurge it on, and the sander do the rest. And then the XPS foam then is going to provide a bed for the spiky part of the model plant to stick into, which would be quite cool. So yeah, look, I'm going to glue all of these. You don't have to bother watching all of these getting glued. I mean, you've seen one bit of foam get glue applied to it, you've pretty much seen all bits of foam get glue applied to them. But here we go. Come back and see me when I've got the sand on, yeah? Alright. Alright, so there are my raised beds. I'm doing landscaping, gardening, Christ. So yeah, that's the XPS foam and sand, and now we're just painting the whole thing with dry bark. You know, let all that dry, then I'm going to do a whole bunch of dry brushing all the way across here. I've filled in quite a lot of corrections. I've gone touched up in places, not everywhere though. I've got to do some others. While this is drying, I'm going to touch up some of the stonework, then I'll dry brush up all the earth, and then we're going to plant some plants. It's going to be lovely. And then I'm going to leave the whole thing to dry. Going to add some colour to this model. It's going to be quite cool. And where we haven't got plants growing, I think I'm going to add some patches of grass, and like I said, something climbing up the side of the refectory, that kind of thing. Just going to add that extra layer of colour and interest, and help to break up the really harsh lines of the whole building as well, with some more natural shapes. And then I'm going to do it all again at the Abbot's house, but I'm going to do that with trees, fruit trees, apple trees along the wall of the garden, I think. Hurrah for me. 1 down, 3 to go. And now I have mud everywhere, earth. That was dryad bark with Steel Legion drab, and then not that you can read that at all, but you take my word for it, Steel Legion drab, and then XV88 dry brushed over the top. Actually still not too dry over there at all. Now what I've got to do is decide what order to do planting and things. I might do all the plantage and then work out where I'm going to put grass, kind of thing. Yeah, I think flock will have to go on last. So what do we need first? Well, I think we're going to use some turnips. Height 1/4 inch, 14 in a pack. I have a row of turnips over there. Let's see what these look like. Dive into the pack. I like Thansk products. each little plant comes stuck in this own little bit of foam. Look, that's cool. Peel that off, get rid of that. So in here I've got this bit of foam, and in it I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 turnips, which I'm going to take out, and each one, they're very so cute. They've got quite a long spike on them, these guys. That spike is about 8mm long, or 6 to 8mm long. That's cut most of that off, but then that will actually go quite well stuck into the earth over here. So 5 pair of clippers, didn't I? Easier said than done. Okay, so that's a load of woodworking glue. I'm going to take the end of my turnip spiky bit, and then I'm going to stick it, I hope, into the earth. Woodworking glue, that'll work nicely. That's going to be really cool. Spread the leaves out a little bit. Gonna have turnip. Zzz. There it is, 1 turnip. That will feed the whole abbey, because they will make some kind of miracle. Or I better put some more turnips in there, aren't I, really? And then I'm going to do the same with leeks. It's going to look really cute. Right, okay. So, turnip, out of foam, take old pair of clippers, cut off most of the spiky bit. That, seriously, that's about 10mm out there. Spiky part of the model of the turnip into the glue, into the earth. Of course, the PVA then will dry solid and pretty much clear, and it will just support the turnips. There we go. We're going to row of those, then a row of leeks. Wicked! Now I've got all my crops planted. Look at me. I think these must be tomato plants. I don't know. But whatever they are, they're big and they're on stakes. Oh, they could be beans of some description. What they do is provide some kind of block of line of sight from here across there to a certain degree. You know, I mean, they're just a bit of interposing terrain, which is quite nice. So I've got, yeah, beans of some description and corn, and turnips and leeks and whatever that's supposed to be, and then blackberries as well. So. Which is quite nice. Now I'm going to put grass around here and some creeping plant of some description up the side there, and then we're going to just put some the odd weed and flower and things. But this is kind of a working yard, so I don't want much there. But the odd bit of ivy in the kitchen, outside the kitchen. But yeah, it's cool. So grass down here next, but I'm not going to do that until all of this woodworking glue is gone completely off, so that's going to be tomorrow evening's job. Okay, so the garden's looking pretty good. Some of the inhabitants are liking the look of it, but there's distinct lack of grass. The rest of it's all mud, so I'm going to apply grass now in these areas here and over here, and maybe out towards the kitchen yard. And I'm also going to put a couple of climbing plants up this corner here and up a couple of the bits of this cloister over there. Going to use foam and all-purpose glue and stuff. Let's give that a go, see what we can do. I'm going to put a climbing plant up this corner of the refectory here. I'm going to use one of my favourite techniques, which is using all-purpose adhesive. Now this should be alright on the XPS foam because it was sealed with Mod Podge. It's had loads of coats of paint over the top of it, and I'm going to use Woodland Scenic's foliage. What colour is this? This is clump foliage medium green. There we go. Clump foliage medium green, Woodland Scenic. And all I'm going to do is start at the bottom with a trace of glue on the ground, and then I'm going to run it out the side of the building, and I'm going to take it, follow some of the brickwork, and I'm going to go over towards the roof of the cloister there for a start, and then I'm going to do a bit more up that way, and I'm going to go out this side as well, and then I'm going to chuck on a load of clump foliage and see what sticks. In a minute, it doesn't matter if the glue drips down, changes shape, because that's where it's going to go. So I'm literally going for clump foliage into the glue, wherever it goes. So some kind of ivy type, climbing type plant going up the wall. Again, one of my main aims for doing this is just to break up all the red, all the harsh corners, and all the massive amount of colour that I've got on here, which is all one thing. So there's a bit of me's bothered because I haven't got any kind of like the sticky bit, the branchy bit, but actually in this scale you couldn't necessarily see the branchy bit so much as you can see the planty bits. So what's going on? It's like impressionism with sponge. I want to do an impression of ivy. Sure, there could be a gag in that, but I don't know. How's that looking? That's looking pretty good. Go around the corner then. Up here. Up the corner of the wall, leaving enough wall visible behind. Across that way. And I'm going to do similar on at least one bit of the cloister outside the cells, because it'll look pretty neat. There you go. Look. This, of course, is always vulnerable to players picking bits off. You got two options there, well, several options actually. Option one is when you've made it all, you seal it with some kind of spray on glue sealant. Option two is you are careful with who comes and plays with your toys. And option three is slap the player who picks bits of it off. You do lose some though through natural wastage, but you know, that's pretty cool. I quite like that. And we're going to do a load of that. Over there too. Over there. Or one of those anyway. Probably at that end. So now we have ivy kind of stuff growing up here. Nicely. And different flock used on that part of the cloister. Which, of course, if I put the roof on like that, will sit nicely there. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm now going to put flock, just woodland scenics, green flock in various places, to a bit of grass, and to exaggerate the vegetable patch, and make all this into kind of like grassy, lawny kind of stuff. Alright, so that's Mod Podge applied. And now we're going to go green flock all over that. So then hopefully I should have some neat little grass lines in between all the different patches on the vegetable patch and round about the place. And it'll look pretty. Yeah, let's find some flock. This is it. This is the kind of thing, this is kind of like a mid-green flock that I tend to use. Again, I think this is woodland scenics colour, and this is what's on most of my bases. And all I'm literally going to do, actually this has been in there ages, is I'm going to take it out and drop it on. Nothing fancy. And then in a minute I'm going to shake it off onto a piece of paper. Piece of paper underneath, tip up onto paper, go. Give it a jolly good shake. And this is normally where I make the mistake of blowing it, and getting flock absolutely everywhere. Tip it upside down. Right, there you go. That's hey, check it out. This is the first of the 3 that's pretty much done. Grass, flocks, trees, vegetable patch. I'm very pleased with that. Now, if only I've got the other 2/3 of this model completed to this point, I'll be really happy. So we're now going to start on that one, which needs similar kind of treatment. And some other stuff too. Okay, here we go. This then is the Abbot's house. He gets the posh gaff. Now, if I was making this for myself, the whole of this inside of this building would be fully detailed with rooms and bits and pieces, but that's way beyond the scope really of this commission build. This has been a really big build, and it's one of those things where it's entirely possible for me to do that kind of thing in a commission build, but actually for the amount of money the client is paying, the amount of time it's taken, we didn't really plan to do the interior. So it's a shame because both of those have not got interiors, but that doesn't matter because most of it is all about outside, and actually not putting in a busy interior inside this building gives it a lot more scope actually for gameplay. There's just 2 floors, easy peasy. So what this needs then, the Abbot's end of the precinct, again, is a general dry brush on all the dry bark here. We're going to do exactly the same, so we're going to use Steel Legion Drab and then XE88 on it, and then I'm going to make a bit of a formal garden, which is going to have flock. I think I'm going to have a path around the outside of the fountain here. Flock, I might find some trees, little trees to go along, apple trees or something that can go along the wall over here, and maybe something out the back there too. Very similar to the kitchen garden end. I might even add a few little flowers and things, to be quite cute. I have no idea what time of year it's going to be at Redwall Abbey, but yeah, it might be nice. So here we go. Let's crack on with that and see what happens. Alright, so that's the ground dry brushed. Now we're going to apply grass. Now, this end, fortunately this end is a little bit more straightforward than the other end, because I'm not doing all the vegetable planting, but I am going to see if I can dive into a box and find some trees, because I'd like to have a couple of apple trees or something here. Because in big posh old gardens, you train your apple tree to grow along a wall, so it won't look wrong at all if I can pull it off. So I'm going to see if I could train some apple trees to grow along the walls. Alright, so this is a Woodland Scenics tree. Not much to it at a minute, but these are pretty cool. They come in all sorts of different sizes. I've got loads of these sitting around in a drawer. What's nice about these is it's easier for them. It's from a tree kit, so you can make your own trees, and they're entirely flat. They should have a little base, but I'm going to cut off that and stick it straight into the ground. They're quite nice from a texture point of view, and the idea is you twist it and bend it to any shape. Now, if you were going to go for a 360-degree tree, you twist it all up, but actually these guys are going to go on the wall over here, so I'm not going to have to do much twisting at all. Cut it down, paint it up a little bit, and then add foliage. So give it a bit of a twist. That's going to be quite neat. See what we can do there. Bend those branches. Yes. Bend them out. Bit of a twist. Along the wall. Oh, come and have a look in a minute. Blimey. Paint wise, these are getting a Steel Legion Drab dry brush, and then they're going to get a grey and a bit of a green dry brush, because trees of course aren't really brown, are they? So I'm doing enough to bring out a colour on them. They're going to have a load of foliage on them anyway, but I don't want them to be brown, because you know, we paint trees brown, but they're not. Alright, so now I'm putting on here an Leicestershire green dry brush over the top, because these are trees, apple trees have been there forever, so they're going to look old and ancient, I hope, and a bit haggard in the corner. And while I'm doing that, check out that I am this evening. I was watching Peaky Blinders, but that's finished now on video. So over here on my phone, I'm just catching up with some YouTube stuff, and I am watching Minis, Models and Mayhem. My old mate of mine, Reese, who's been building an amazing 40k railway gun. So do go check that out. There's a link down below, I think. Minis, Models and Mayhem. Well worth it. Go and give him some subs. He'll love you tuning in. But anyway, that's got not Burrows and Badgers, so there we go. One tree, got 2 more to do. And then I'm going to stick them against the walls and put some foliage on them. Wicked. See you in a bit. Right, so I'm going to stick trees in now. I'm using super glue for this. Doesn't matter, this is going to be fairly messy because if it goes on the wall, because most of it's going to be hidden by foliage, but I'm gluing lots of the backs of the branches because these are going to be in contact with the wall. And to make this model as robust as I can, I want quite a lot of gluage and contact. So that's glue on the base to where I've cut off the spiky bit, take tree, stick to wall. Let's see what happens. There will also be contact with the wall then when I put foliage on. I'll glue on the wall and I'll glue on the tree, and then hopefully that will help to hold it in place. So there's an apple tree against that wall. There we go. And I'm going to do another one and down here in this corner here, and there'll be one down in this wall. Out of shot. Right, so I've now got 3 trees super glued in place. The super glue is going to hold them pretty good, but I'm also going to reinforce that with some Bostik. And then we're going to put Bostik glue on the branches, on the walls, and going to apply again our medium green Woodland Scenics clump foliage. There we go. There we are. There's one tree done. It does seem really weird making flat trees. I mean, trees aren't supposed to be flat, but you know, seriously, if you go to big garden centers, if you go to stately homes, or you go to places with impressive gardens, they've got cottage gardens, you will see apple trees trained to grow in straight lines. You know, and they just chop all these outside branches out, and they're up against walls, and they grow like that. So I'm quite pleased with that. It's going to look nice way of putting trees in this shape here. Got to do these two over here. They look a bit bare. It's like winter is coming over here. Oh, hello, summertime. So I'm going to sort them out now. Yeah, okay. Then these are my finished apple trees. Flat up against the wall. I've used different flock just to go in the flower beds underneath, and a couple of feature flowers in there. Gauge Master flowers from Noch. Nice, bloody expensive, so not putting many of them in there. And another tree over here too. So now I'm going to leave that overnight and let that glue really go off before I worry about doing all the flock and bits and pieces. So I'm going to go to bed because I've got to get up in the morning and go and actually do some actual proper work to earn some actual proper money. Yeah, come back when that's all dry and I'm doing the flock. So this is where I'm at now. I've got the apple trees sorted, or the fruit trees, whatever, on the walls of the courtyard of the bishops, the abbots' residence garden, and now I need to, I think, probably just flock on around here, just have a lawn around the fountain. I might have a path to each bit from the fountain, keep that will make sense, but then mostly have grass out here. I might find the odd, the problem is the shape isn't great to do a proper formal garden, which in some ways would be cool, but I just think it needs grass, some green, going to break up everything. I'm kind of tempted to put in a tree, but the fountain breaks up lines of sight and things anyway. So I'm going to flock it first, I think, and then see where we're at. And then in the back, I'm going to have mostly an earth path with grass, I think, maybe some bushes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to make this up as I go along. Right, so flocking first of all. I need Mr. Mod Podge back again. And yeah, so I'm going to do kind of an area here. Let's go round, definitely go around the outside. Leave the pathway around the outside of the fountain. Then, when all the flock is done, I've blown off all the flock, I'm going to put resin water into, I'm going to put a tint of green in here, because it's going to be, and I'm then going to put resin into the fountain. That'll look quite nice. And the odd bit of sponge flock, kind of like bush growing up there. So, what do we need? We need... Going to paint with Mod Podge. Well, come back in a minute, you see me do this. I'll show you the shape and then we'll flock it. Alright, there's my Mod Podge in place. And now we're going to flock it. Let's have a flocking good time. Flocky flock, flockity flock, flocky flocky flock. All on there. Scatter, scatter, scatter. Over some of the path, we got some Mod Podge as well. Putting flock on till I can't see the Mod Podge. Right, let's shake the flock off. Shake the flock off. Move that out of the way. Get me shaky piece of paper out. And let's shake. Probably going to take this outside the workshop and give it a bit of a blow actually. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah. Look, formal lawns. How cool is that? Yeah, not bad. Oops. We got green everywhere. We got green all over. They're digging through the cack shirt tonight. Green absolutely everywhere, but that's not bad at all. That's going to be alright. I'll keep blowing on that. Good, right, move that out of the way. Clear up the flocky flock. And do the bit out the back of it. Oh my god, I've got it all over me. Covered. Absolutely covered. Here we've got the front of the Abbey steps, and there's a lot of earth down here that needs just dry brushing up. I'm going to put some planting into it, but I don't think there'd be much grass out the front here because it's kind of like, you know, walk through all the time. So muddy, some ivy maybe growing up down the bottom, or some bits down the bottom of the wall, but not much else. And then just round the back, round the back of the windows, on this side here and this side here, I'm going to have some plants growing up there. And that, my friends, is pretty much done. Oh my god, we're nearly there. Right, let's wield the dry brushing. Let's do it. Okay, so that is all the flocking and all the plant detail. Zooming in down here. This is the refectory garden. Nice. Kitchen garden there, vines and things growing on the refectory itself, with raspberries and things I think growing down here. Happy with that. Nice bit of grass, nice bit of work there. Then round the front of the abbey, just a bit of rough grass growing through all the cracks. And then over here in the Abbot's garden, we've got the fountain and we've got the trees, bushes and grass all the way through there. There are only now 2 jobs left to do on this model. One, pour resin into that fountain to make it look wet. 2, take all the doors, put them in place, and then, because of the multiple layers of paint added to doors and model, make the damn things fit, because at the moment they probably don't. Look at that, it's just too tight. How annoying is that? So I'm going to have to trim down on the doors a little bit to make them fit and repaint them, but apart from that, we're very nearly done. Oh my god. Hang on to your hats, kids. It's Wednesday. This might even be in a video by Saturday night, you never know. I want water effects in the fountain there. So I'm going to use, I hope, I haven't had this one out for a little while. Woodland Scenics, realistic water, resin. Going to pour this in to each layer and see what we get. Not much. Going to leave it 24 hours to dry. Wish me luck. Here we go. I'm pouring it. I'll see if I can do this on camera. I'm going to pour it actually over the top of the fountain piece. Come on, little resin, out you come. See if I can fill up each layer. There we go. Filling up the top. And then look at that, just like a proper water fountain. It's going to run around the edges. This might not be the best way of doing this, to be quite honest. But I'm here now. Pour, 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 pour. Going into the bottom layer. Going into the bottom layer. I'll drop the odd leaf in it as well, as it goes to settle. Alrighty. Wasn't watching that at all. I hope that came out on camera alright. Water in the fountain in the Abbot's garden. Alright, this is about to get terrifying. I'm about to take a perfectly good piece of scenery that I made and trim it because it doesn't bloody fit. So you could say it's not a perfectly good piece of scenery. There's the hole. It's supposed to go in the hole. It doesn't even bloody come close. So I need to trim. Take me really sharp knife and slice down the side and take a tiny bit off the top. Because every time you paint on the model and you're dry brushing it, you add in layers. So when I made this, it may well have fitted and it was fine, but I've added layers of paint to the door. I've added goodness knows how many layers of paint to the hole that it's going to go in. So I definitely need to trim it in. Alright, so I'm cutting down this side first of all for what I'm about to receive. I'm going to do it a little bit at a time because I don't want to knacker me model. Brand new blade in this knife, so you make it easy to cut, B, less light to cut myself. Cut a bit off the bottom there. So close to finishing this model, but I want it to be absolutely perfect. And the door's not working properly. It's not adding towards perfect. So, constant case of trim, a little, fit a little. Here we go. It's too damn big, man. Okay, no, and it definitely takes some off this side as well, and generally around the top. Looking good, looking good. Oh, yes! The door fits. Bit of touch-up paint. Got to do that with some of the other doors on the model now, but cool. One of the things I like about this model is the way I've made it, so I could do this with it. Take the Abbey out in the middle and everything else lines up, and we've still got quite a posh little estate is now 2 foot by 2 foot, and we've got it could be a farm, it could be still a posh house for Burrows and Badgers. There are the Burrows and Badgers figures in there. Works really well, still quite well. So from that point of view, it's pretty cool. This is kind of the versatility that I've tried to build into this model, so it gets used quite a lot. Pretty pleased with that. There you go. What do you think? That's the completed Redwall Abbey. I'm done. Finished. Completed the whole thing. I've got to say, actually, it's been a really great build. It's taken longer than I thought it was going to, but that's because, actually, with COVID restrictions going and everything else happening, I've been able to do some proper work, and work has got in the way, which has been great for me because I've earned money, but on the other hand, it's been a bit of a pain in the neck from a filming and a building schedule. But it is a really cool model. I've learned a lot actually along the way about commission builds and what I'd do in the future if people ask me to make models for them. And actually one of the things I've got to learn to say is no as it goes, because there's just not enough time. If I was making this model for me, it would be even more intricate and even more detailed. I've had to kind of compromise in some cases because when you've got your own models, you look after them. You kind of like put them on shelves, you put them in boxes, you pack them away. When you're making a model that's going to get used in a store and by a lot of people who don't necessarily own it, it needs to be that little bit more robust. And you can't go for that finer detail that actually I'd really like to on a model like this. If this had been my model, there would have been at least 2 more videos of detailing the insides of the buildings and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So unfortunately for you and for this channel, because I can get on and do some other stuff, I haven't done that. So I really hope you've enjoyed this Redwall build. If you have, please do leave comments down below. If you want to talk to me about XPS foam work, then leave comments down below, or go over to my Facebook page and say hi over there. I am going to be doing some other Burrows and Badgers builds in the next little while. I've got some pretty epic ideas, in fact, for a very big B&B project for myself. I have got some other stuff I've got to finish making for Black dragon, although I haven't even started. So that will come as well. I've got some Necromunda builds on the way. I really want to get on with some Judge Dredd stuff. And now, I've gone and bought myself Stargrave as well, haven't I? So I want to make some sci-fi scenery for Stargrave and mess around with some spaceships. So there's going to be a lot yet to come from Agrathea Builder Worlds in the next little while. That means if you have not subscribed to this channel, where have you been? Get subscribed. Click subscribe now. Click the little bell thing to know, so you get a notification when I put up a new video. Yeah, like I said, leave comments down below. Give us a like, share with all your mates, all those kind of things. I've had so much fun making films and videos on this channel. I can't believe so many people watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. So, having said all that, here comes the sexy setup filming bits of the Abbey. You can see it's all its glory with some lovely figures from Oathsworn miniatures. Aside from that, all I've got to say is thanks for watching. Thanks very much for watching, especially sticking with me throughout this entire series. And I will see you next time on Agrathea Builder Worlds. I finished it. It's down here. It's really cool. I'm really happy. I'm going to make something else now. Yeah.